Hey guys, Jim Bounds with Motorhome Rehab Ranch, and as promised, we're going to talk about rebuilding and renewing this steering shaft. You remember the last episode we took this out, right? So the first thing that we're going to do is get these old boots off. Take a razor knife, cut it open, and pull it off. Now see, my slip shaft is in pretty good shape. All the plastic's in good shape. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to get this other one off. So the steering shaft boot, this one has a tie wrap on it. Some of them we used a metal band. It was a lot tighter, but the tie wrap really does do the job. Okay, and you just pull that off the top of that, flip this thing open, like that. Get a little bit wider, open wide. There we go. Pull this thing off. Come on. There we go. There we go. There's the old one. Now this is what we got. Remember we were talking about these balls and this CV. You can see how that works. And you can see if those balls locked up or had rust on them, you'd have a real problem. Okay? So we want to cover that. Okay? And then we got this flip shaft. Inspect that to be sure it's in good shape. All right? So we got it apart. And we know the parts that we're going to put in, right? Let me review something from the last video. Here we were talking about a cheater. This is 11/16 wrench. To get some extra leverage on it, you lock it in like that and you can pull down here. All right? Now, these are two what's called boxed in wrenches. All right? What I'd like to do a little bit is talk about wrenches. Okay? Also, while we're doing this, let me wipe my hands here. You can get me a rag, please. While we're doing that, I had a question. People ask, what tools did I take with me when I went to Utah? All right. So unpacking, these are the tools I took with me to Utah. All right. Now, I'm not telling you need all these tools. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But thank you. If you're just going to go somewhere, though, you need to have at least some basic tools. If you have a problem and you do break down and you give me a call, because I tell you, the first thing you want to do, if you have an issue, okay, pull over, get safe, can't help you there. They try to park level. Okay, why? Because you have 4.5-inch deep fuel tanks. If you go to the side of the road and you park like this, you might run out of gas. Stay level, okay? You'll fire up the generator if it works. You say, why? Well, that's the power source. And so if we have a problem with a battery, say we find out your battery goes out or something like that, that's a power source, and we can charge with that. And if nothing else, it'll keep your cell phone going and the beer cold. So you fire your generator up, okay? Take some initial things to see what's going on. If the wheel fall off or whatever, and then I want you to call me, okay? This is, I got to tell you, over the years, I've been able to help a lot of people. And here recently, it's become what I do, basically, if you want to call it, for retirement living, all right? So give me a call. But when you do that, I'm going to ask you to have a few basic things with you, okay? Not all of this, okay? I'm going to show you a little bit about all this, but what I want you to have with you always is one of these briefcase, suitcase things, tool sets. Now this one is ancient. This is just standard. It doesn't even have metric in it. So it's a real basic one. You know, just got sockets and wrenches and screwdrivers and things like that. You should buy one of these and just put it in the coach and always just leave it right there. Okay? So you have all of these tools as an asset, right? You also want to have digital voltmeter. This one, this is not a Harbor Freight. A little better, but it doesn't matter. It's going to have a DC volt scale. This one, 0 to 200, 0 to 20 volt DC. That's all you need. But you need to have a voltmeter, because I'll ask you to do some voltmeter readings and to see if we have power here and there. You can check your fuses with this. It's very important to have that. Okay. I did a video about what to take with you to jack your coach up and get a wheel off. Go review that. Have all that stuff. That's in my coach all the time. All right. So if you have these basic tools and this meter, okay, as we go through this other tools that I've got, I'm going to show you. I'd also keep those too. Okay. So I'll show you. Come on over here. We're going to talk about these tools that I took. Right. Now, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to run into. And I was going to be out 2,500 miles away from home for an extended length of time. Yeah. So I wanted a screw gun that could take drill bits, bring the charger, don't run out of battery. Okay. And you can stand back and watch it all. Over here, this full set of deep well sockets. Okay. Wrenches. We're going to talk about wrenches in a second. But I've got a full set of metric and standard stubby wrenches. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Okay. You may want to have that with you. Okay. These block off fuel. If you're going to block off a fuel line and change a filter, I had 2 sets of these. Okay. Had another second basic socket set for no other reason than it belonged to my granddad. It's a Craftsman original set. I just keep it with me. I showed you the 2 hammers. We had the big mallet hammer, a 3-pound mallet, and then a little ball peen tink hammer. Also brought a regular hammer. Wouldn't hurt to have that with you. I never go anywhere without a set of Klein crimpers. Right? All your electrical connections and wire and everything can be done with just a set of Klein crimpers. It's got 2 large and small crimps on it. Because I'm bringing stuff, I got a set of wire strippers. It makes it much easier. You could do it with that, a little harder. Use some wire strippers. Channel locks. If all else fails, grab it with pliers or channel locks, right? Can't grab it if you don't have them. Crescent wrench. I'll tell you, Jason is the crescent wrench king of the world. This is his. He couldn't take it with him coming back from Utah, so I'm going to give this back to him. It's got striker on it. It's a really nice wrench. Big fat handle on it. Nice accurate movement. That's a nice crescent wrench. I carry a couple other ones. These universal Phillips head straight slot screwdriver jobs. I take 2 of those. And then a regular set, because you may need a deeper shank. Okay, so I'll bring 1 each of those. On the screw gun, we got a set of Phillips tips. It's easier just to leave them in the bag and get a whole bag. You say, well, I want to bring 1. Well, if you only bring 1 and you lose it, now where are you? So just get a little pack. They come in cheap. Get a full set. You never know what you run into. And an extension. Tie wraps. Hey, man, tie wraps saved me. The air ride system was doing some funny things, and I tie wrapped it back together. The air controls, the screws came loose. Tie wraps. Electrical tape. Black UL electrical tape is the worst thing you could possibly get. If it's got a white liner in here and it says UL, do not use it. It gets gooey. It's a vinyl tape. It unwraps. It's terrible. This is Scotch 33 plus. There's also 88 plus. It'll have a yellow liner in here. 88 plus is what you usually see at Home Depot. That it's used to bury underground cables. And when if you ever pull off a piece of 33 plus and you feel what it's like, you'll know why you're going to throw away that UL tape. Trust me on this one. Okay? When I was at Circuit City, when I would have a new installer come in, I'd have him go through his box. And if he had any of this tape, that UL tape, I'd throw it away and give him one of these. Said, don't ever bring that stuff in. Okay? Then I had just a selection of wrenches. I'll show you that in a second. All right. So of all of these tools, and I'm going to do a picture of this on the video so you can kind of look it up. Of all these tools, to me, one of the most important tools is this piece of wire. You need to have about a 3-foot piece of wire, and I'm double protected, so I've got about a 6 or 8-foot piece of wire. It's amazing what you can do with a piece of wire. All these parts and tools and things cannot duplicate a piece of wire. Always carry a piece of wire with you. All right? Okay, so come on over here. I want to show you a little bit about wrenches. A lot of people over the years, you get a set of wrenches, and you get a wrench that looks kind of like this. It's got a box in on one side and open on the other. You say, well, I got 2 shots. Well, actually, this wrench it's made just like this for something special. If you notice, the wrench is at an angle. It sounds crazy, but if the only way you can get to a bolt is like this, you can usually move this enough to turn it over and grab it again. So that angle right there is scientifically designed. Very, very important. And a box end can do a whole lot of cool things. Let me show you what I mean. Remember we told you when we got the 11/16 bolt? Let's see, where is that thing? It must have fallen off the table. When we got that bolt out, well, took another boxed-in wrench, grabbed it in there. That gives you leverage. And if you can't get something, you just can't pull it. This will give you extra leverage. Now, in that vein, having a full set of stubby, metric, or standard wrenches, okay? If you're trying to reach in, like if you're going to take out the power brake booster, you want to use a stubby wrench so you can get your hand in there and get it off. But say you needed to get something loose of that size, say it was a 9mm or something. Well, you can cheat it, and just because you have a stubby, you can have a long wrench too. Okay, so having a full set of metric and standard stubby wrenches is a pretty cool thing to have. All right. Now, there's some specialty wrenches. When I say specialty wrenches, well, let me show you one other wrench. So a lot of guys see a wrench like this. These are in the inexpensive sets. One side has a 3/4, one side has a 5/8. Okay, and that's made to just grab a bolt and get it loose, and you may have to turn it over and back and forth, right? It grabs the 2 of the 6 sides of the bolt, okay? A closed-in or a boxed-in wrench grabs all the sides of the bolt. So this is a much, much stronger bite, okay? Now, a third type of wrench is a line wrench. And what's that? Well, a line wrench is the same as this, so it gets a good bite on the whole hex. But it allows you to slip a line, say on a brake line. That's what these are for. You got a brake line coming into a 7/16 hex. You slip this on the line, and then you can go down onto that hex and pull it from all sides so you won't crush it. If you grab a brake line with one of these type, it only grabs here and here, what it's going to do is it's going to tend to crush that fitting. So what you want to use on anything that's a line or a hose coming in that has a hex or has a fitting on it, you want to use a line wrench. This is a 3/8 and 7/16. This is a real important line wrench to me. I have a full set over there. So, you say, well, I want to buy a set of wrenches. What kind of wrenches? Do I want open end, boxed in? Do I want, too many decisions, right? That's why you end up with all these wrenches. You don't have to have all of it, okay? So then you say, well, let's just get this universal thing that'll do everything, like this, right? Grab any size bolt. The problem with this thing is you got to have a flat bolt, and you got to have a bunch of room to get that thing in there. What if there's no room at all? What if all you can do is stick this nice slender wrench in there with a box end onto the bolt and get it loose? Or even worse, maybe you had to go all the way in, over, and grab it. These are really handy to have. So you get a full set of these. It's got the same, like this one is 9/16 and a half inch. Okay. This is a specialty wrench. You may not need this that much. It's a very straight handle, straight on it like this. This is an old, really, really old snap-on. This wrench here is a junk wrench. But to be honest with you, if you need a wrench, when you need that wrench, I don't care if it's a snap-on, a Mac, or whatever it is, you need that wrench. Okay, so I'm a believer in having the tools. And unfortunately, I have to say, folks like Harbor Freight and things have kind of muddied the waters up, because if you have a second set of tools that are just for emergency, you almost can't help but use Harbor Freight tools. And unfortunately, or not unfortunately, that's what I have used. This is another kind of wrench. This is a ratchet closed-in wrench. Makes things real quick. But again, it's a little bit big. It's got a big head, so you got to have a lot of clearance on it. I could have used this 11/16 to pop that off real fast, but to be honest with you, using the two wrenches and get a little bit of extra torque on it made it happen. So this is the reason you have all of these kind of wrenches. Okay, so in your tool set, in this set right here, what I had in here was a boxed end and an open end at that special angle. Okay, and that's usually enough to be able to do everything you need. But if you find, like this one in my hand right now is a 1/2 inch boxed in, open end, stubby. That is a really, really good wrench, and I always have this around with me. Okay, if you find a couple of wrenches that are special to you, then that's what you want to do. You want to get those wrenches and you want to use them. Okay, so what wrenches did I have going to Utah? I didn't know what I was going to use, so I just put in everything. Okay, I put in the kitchen sink. Well, almost. I didn't have my big air compressor. I had a small air compressor, right? And I had an extra battery, one of those jumper things, combination jobs. And then one other thing I carried, this bag had the big stuff. Granddaddy's crescent wrench. He built Liberty ships, excuse me, Liberty ships with this baby. I just carry this for good luck. If I do get to use it, it makes me feel good. I had to buy a brake line bending tool because the steel lines that I finally got, I first got those nickel copper lines, but they were metric. The guy was didn't give me the right thing. So then I got a steel line, but if you use steel lines, you really need to have a tool to bend them, or you'll crush them or pinch them. So I bought that. Okay, I carry an extra meter. Here's a Harbor Freight one right here. This is all you need, guys. I used to give them away. Now I think they cost something, but that's really the only meter that you need. All right, so I hope this answers that question. What tools did I have? try to be prepared. I'm not telling you you have to bring all this stuff, but what I am telling you, you have to have a minimum set of tools to be able to diagnose things that are wrong. And if there's something small, you can get to it. And if it's something bigger, at least you can mitigate things. Right? Well, look, thank you for your time. Next week, or next video, I'm going to put this back together, which is no big deal, and we're going to go put it in. So this piece right here, we're going to re-grease that. I really like the grease. This is graphite grease in there. I'm going to just add a little bit more grease to that. I'm going to slide it back into the steering shaft, which is this part, which is still in the coach. That part is still in the coach. See, this is the original one, a little bit longer. This is still in the coach. So we're going to take that, put that in, and then reattach it. Okay? All right. Well, look, thanks for your time. I hope you learned something here. If you have any questions, give me a call. All right? Look for the next video that we'll talk about putting it back in. And if you'd like to be a ranch hand, go check that out. I'd appreciate your support. And see you next time.